All right, well, welcome back since we're kind of late lunch. You get to eat knowledge instead. So, I'm Jorge Fonseca. I'm a PhD student here, hoping to graduate in July. That's assuming I pass the blockchain class, that is. And my focus is actually in optical character recognition, post-processing. So we scan things and then you try to spell check them, and using machine learning tools. And I'm also a visiting lecturer, and I teach a couple of the lower level classes here, such as programming and data structures, and an ITE class, which is managing web databases.
Hello everyone, I'm Binay. I'm also a PhD student in computer science department, and my research interest is on application of deep learning on computer vision and language processing and neural networks.
So today we're going to give you a quick overview of what we're doing first of all. So we're doing a decentralized blockchain marketplace, and as we've already talked about our background, next we're going to talk about our motivation, some of the similar systems that are already out there, the features, the architecture. Then Vinay is going to take over and talk about the inner workings of the system. It's going to give you a live demo. We're hoping everything works out fine, and if not, we have a backup. And then after that, we're going to come back and talk about some of the challenges and the future work that's left for it, and then lunchtime. So before that, let's talk a little bit about the state of things with online marketplaces. So over 1.8 billion people in the world purchased something online last year in 2018. That's about 1 in every 5 people worldwide. However, I'm pretty sure that everybody in this room has at least purchased something online. Has anyone not purchased something online? Or had at least told someone to do it for them? Yeah, so that's pretty common. And this number is going up. They expect by 2020 to be 2 billion. And in terms of how much they spent, $2.8 trillion these people spent. Suppose that each thing is worth $10. That's about 280 billion items bought. That's a lot of buying, but more importantly, that's a lot of middlemen. So what is this middleman that we're talking about? Well, every time that you go and buy something, there's two sort of middleman transactions that have to happen. First of all, somebody has to transfer money from you to that person, whether that be Visa or PayPal, and someone has to actually handle the posting of the website and actually doing the announcing that you're selling a product, unless you have your own server at home that you're hosting and giving out the website and so on directly. Someone's going to be there. So some of these middlemen that we all know have probably used are Amazon and eBay. eBay being more of like the average Joe wanting to go sell something. He's not going to go and learn how to host a website, put up a product up just so he can sell like some $20 collectible card. He's not going to do all of that. Then we also have Amazon for the more of the smaller merchants who are also don't want to deal with getting an online marketplace going. They just want to go and have access to be able to sell outside of their hometown and things like that. So we do have not just the big companies that have their own system. We have a lot of the market going for the average person that is buying and selling and the small businesses. But we're still trying to hope for everybody to use this. So with that said, our motivation was mostly reduce or remove the middleman fees. And those are, of course, PayPal takes a cut, Amazon takes a cut, eBay takes a cut. Pretty much anybody that gets involved in the process takes a cut, which I mean they're putting in work, right? But can we automate that? Can we remove a little bit of the human factor? With the exception, of course, of resolving some disputes, which we'll talk about. The other thing we want to do is speed up transaction time. Now, I know you're thinking blockchain and transaction times are not the best things right now, right? In Ethereum, we got about 15 to 20 transactions per second. So we're talking about more than that. We're talking about, as Dr. Kim said with the mango example, we're talking about getting faster from I want to sell a product to having it listed to being told to ship the product. That's what we're talking about trying to speed up. We also want to decentralize this. So right now, if Amazon goes down, that's it. If you're just selling on Amazon, then good luck trying to sell somewhere else while you set it up, right? You're out of the market for that moment. So what do people do? Well, they have to set up a website on their own account on eBay, Amazon, some of the other online sellers, Alibaba and all of those, and then they have to manage inventory. And what happens if somebody goes and buys something on your Amazon store, and then the same item gets also sold on eBay, but you only had one in stock? Now you're going to have an angry customer when you tell them that sorry, but we're actually sold out. So we're hoping to maintain with blockchain the ability to have one database per se of items that you're selling that can then be given to different websites that are that are selling your products and not have that problem. So that's one of the motivations we're trying to do. And then, of course, this is good or bad, it does add a certain level of anonymity. So, before we jumped in, we said, okay, what's out there right now? We don't want to just go and do this and then find out that somebody did the exact same thing. And maybe they have, but we didn't run into it. What we did run into is a couple of these guys. Origami, OpenBazaar, and Multibank. Most of you might know OpenBazaar, but if you don't, OpenBazaar is actually a fork of the infamous Silk Road. And I'm sure some of you have heard about that and how it affected cryptocurrency in general. And so let's go over a couple of these and just tell you what they are. So Origami, what it is it's using Ethereum smart contracts, which is something that we're going to use, to go ahead and do the escrow services. But they still have a centralized server, and they're more focused at if someone wants to set up a website and they don't want to use PayPal or Visa, they can use Origami to be able to transact in cryptocurrencies. So they're still centralized in that sense, and they're not really aimed at trying to appeal to like multiple people having in one marketplace like Amazon or eBay do. OpenBazaar, as I said, being a fork of the Silk Road, is based on Bitcoin, which doesn't have smart contracts. So how do they do the escrow management? Well, they have multi-signatures, and so basically the money doesn't get, the money is kind of kept somewhat secure until everybody agrees, and then the money gets released, and then of course this brings in issues because this is kind of done off the chain, and this is using IPFS, so it is decentralized in that sense that you can't take down the site as the FBI found out with the Silk Road. And there's also the problem that it uses a centralized search engine. So if I want to go and buy something on OpenBazaar, I need to access some sort of search engine that can access the IPFS data and direct me to the seller unless I have their direct address. I went ahead and tried OpenBazaar when we were starting this out, and there were two search engines. There was the curated one by OpenBazaar, which had a lot of nice things, and there was supposed to be another one, which was the free-for-all one. Unfortunately, that was down, so I didn't get to see what was sold there. But that's probably a good thing, otherwise I might be in the watch list. So, yeah. And then finally we have Multibank. This is a new one. This actually had an ICO 2 days ago, and I'm not sure how that went, but the fact that they having an ICO and didn't have a product out when that happened, which I know that a lot of the important thing when having an ICO is that you have a prototype at least, right? They just had an ICO and there wasn't really anything more than the website. So I'm not really sure how that's going, but I mean, they are definitely advertising a lot of the things that we're doing, so good luck to them, but that's all there is. But I do want to mention them. So, now that I said what's out there, what do we want to do and why do we want to do it? Well, we want to decentralize everything. We want to decentralize the escrow servers using Ethereum's blockchain smart contracts, and we want to decentralize the database and the web hosting side using Swarm and things like, because as Dr. Kim said, we don't want to throw everything on the blockchain and then overload it and have to pay a bunch of gas or whatever to store. We want to only put what we have to and the rest throw it in Swarm and other places, such as images and things like that aren't really that important. And then, of course, we want to decentralize the project itself by having it being open source, transparent, collaborate with the community. So why Ethereum? We mostly already talked about some of these things like smart contracts in Ethereum and faster transaction times compared to other things like some of the other cryptocurrencies. But most importantly, it's because it's the second largest cryptocurrency. And I'm sure a lot of you have some Ether, and if you don't, then you've heard of it. And it's still not stable as we wish it was, but it's definitely better than going and finding one of those altcoins or the other famous name for them. So some of the main features that we want to do are the following. Well, not that we want to do because we have a demo. We want to be able to list products. As a seller, I want to be able to list my products to sell them. And as a buyer, I want to be able to browse what's available and then go ahead and buy one if I want something. I want to be able to have cross-communication between different marketplaces, like I said. So we have a blockchain behind this that has what is being sold, and then if Amazon wants to use this as well, they can show everything that's available to be sold from the blockchain, and then other companies can do the same. So we want that sort of cross-communication. We want transparency for the transactions, which is something that being Ethereum is open, and we can see who's transacting with who. Of course, you see addresses and things like that. We want to have that transparency in there. And of course, most importantly, we want to have safe release of payment upon delivery. So we only release the money when everything went right. That way, there's no unhappy customers. So this is a very, very basic view of the architecture before the Binaries takes over. So we have the Node.js server, which we could have multiple of. And then, of course, that has its own front end that communicates with the buyer and the seller. And then over here, we have a smart contract that communicates with the blockchain. We have a hash there to make sure that we can match things there with Swarm. So we have kind of like, think of it like the transaction ID as being the hash. And then we store only the critical information in the blockchain, such as, think of it like the receipt when you purchase something. And then over in Swarm, we're going to store more of the bigger stuff like product images, maybe like full-on descriptions and things like that. So let me now take over.
Thank you. So now I'm going to talk about basic architecture of our system. Basically, our system has three layers. The first one is the front-end layer, which contains all the user interface, which users can use to create their product listing, browse for product, and make and purchase, things like that. In the middle layer is all the processes like creating a user, adding products, buying products, and which takes the request and data from the front end and it forwards those requests to the back end, which is the last layer of our architecture. The last layer contains all the database, blockchain, and smart contracts. So this is the basic workflow of our system. From the seller's point of view, sellers have products. He or she uses their Ethereum address to create an account, and then they can create a product listing, and all those information goes into database and blockchain as well. From buyer's perspective, they create an account as well from using their Ethereum address, and then they can view all the listings made by other sellers. If they want, they can make a purchase out of those items, and then those orders are handled by smart contract, and then the smart contract will do the payment or the delivery of the product. Once item has been delivered to the buyer, smart contract will release